Humidor Shop Talk. Humidor Shop Talk. Get ready. Humidor Shop Talk. Get ready. Humidor Shop Talk. Sports. Humidor Shop Talk. Cigars. Humidor Shop Talk. Get ready. Humidor Shop Talk. Get ready. Humidor Shop Talk.
Yo, 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 top of the morning, everybody. Happy St. Patty's Day weekend. All my people out there, especially to all my Irish out here in Chicago. I know y'all out there celebrating, painting the river green today. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Humidor Sports and Cigars. I'm here with the crew. Got my boy Lucky Lefty up here in the building. And
What up?
And my brother KDL looking a little too worse for wear, but he's here.
What is happening? I'm here, baby. What's happening?
He made it. He made it. Yo, we gonna jump right in to the ride. Obviously, it is NCAA championship weekend this weekend. Been a lot of intrigue and a lot of good conference championship games, and of course, we got Selection Sunday popping up tomorrow. I think one of the biggest topics that's been talked about, especially heading into this weekend, is will the SEC still have a chance of getting the 13 in? We've seen some teams kind of fall off a little bit during conference tourney and towards the end of the season. So, fellas, I'm gonna put it out there for y'all, and I'll start off with you, KDL. Do you think the SEC still gonna get 13 in this year?
They have a good shot of doing it because don't trip off the conference tournaments, right? Don't trip off that. Anybody can be beat in a conference tournament by a lower team that's hot, or to make a run to the tournament trying to get in. They have everything to be motivated for, but your SEC teams that's built that body of work throughout the year, they beat each other, they still have a shot to do it. Your body of work defines your spot, supposedly. You can't get hot in the SEC tournament, jump up and beat Florida, jump up and beat Tennessee, jump up and beat Kentucky, and all of a sudden you tournament worthy. That ain't how it works. So their body of work throughout the year puts them in position to get all 13. I 100% agree with it. Yes.
Luck, what you think about it?
Yeah, I think they still get 13 in. You know, conference. You know, these conference tournaments. They're more. They help more the bubble teams that are like right there on the, last four in, last four out. I think Carolina's showing, and the way they ended the season, I think Carolina's showing an ACC tournament it's probably gonna get them in. I know they lost last night. As goofy as that shit was, damn lane violation. Who the hell?
On a lane violation?
A lane violation.
Come on, man.
But teams like that, I think they're showing in the ACC tournament help. Like they'd have went out the first round of the ACC tournament, they probably don't make the dance. But the fact they got to the semis and still took the number one team in the country to the wire, even though they didn't have Cooper Flag, I think that's gonna get them in. So like I said, it doesn't hurt the teams that had good seasons necessarily. Like Kev said, your body of work, it won't hurt them, and then they strengthen the schedule just along with the SEC. So I think that
they got to play each other.
Yeah, I think any of them 13 that get left out would be considered let it be considered.
You know what? One of them might get left out for somebody that wins the conference tournament in the lower conference.
It's possible. Yeah, it is.
They might bounce one. Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about any SEC teams kind of being on the bubble, and I don't think essentially it's going to end up coming to that. I think the one thing, and obviously all of these teams, you talking about 11 of those teams ranked in the top 25 that's basically facing, going head to head against each other. What I'm
Exactly.
kind of
So you
intrigued
can't
by.
put it. So think about what you're saying, DY. You can't put them out. They all ranked top 25. How you gonna put them out? Think
Right.
about what you're saying.
Right, and
So I can.
the lowest seed, I think, even though they lost, I think the lowest seed was. I'm looking at it right now. I think the lowest seed may have been Kentucky at 15. So
Okay. So you got. So how you put them out then? They all getting in. I tell you
well,
right there, they all getting in.
well, you got some teams that's not ranked in the top 25 that could possibly find themselves out of it.
Yeah.
So
But whenever they show that last 4 in, first 4 out, whatever, none of the teams are in there. So that's usually a good sign, and that's usually pretty accurate. When they do that, they be on point with that. So,
and I think the last piece of that puzzle is you have not seen any of the top seeds fall at this point. You may have a 4 lose to a 5, but that's pretty much a wash. But nobody's gotten knocked off. I think the biggest chance for upset would have been last night if North Carolina could have did the deed. But that's the only thing I believe that's going to push some of these teams out. Now, with today's matchups, you got Tennessee going against Auburn again in the SEC. And then you probably got the most intriguing matchup of the day when you got Florida against number 5, Alabama. So Tennessee is looking to avenge that loss from early in the season to Auburn. And then, of course, Florida is looking to hopefully make it back to the SEC championship game and avenge that loss. So who y'all got in the Tennessee-Auburn matchup? Look.
I would normally say Auburn, but in situations like this, because I think Auburn's locked the number 1 seed.
Okay.
Pretty locked in. So I think Tennessee, just for seeding purposes, they're gonna probably come out and like go all in. You know what I mean? I think at this point, with your team like Auburn, you're looking forward to next week. It's all about the big dance now. But I mean, of course, you always want to win, win your conference tournament. But I think Tennessee gonna come out and try to make a statement that's gonna help them seed, and it's not gonna knock Auburn out of the 1 seed. So I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
That'll be huge. KDL, what do you think about Florida versus Bama?
I'm gonna take Florida. Florida's been underrated kind of all year, right? They ain't been in the top whatever talked about like that. But Florida got a good team, bro. I'm gonna take Florida, right? Because all top dogs ain't gonna win. It's just a go that way. It just simply don't. So I'm gonna take Florida, and it really, if you look at it, it's really not an upset. It's really not. Florida been ranked all year too. Now Florida done lost some games. You be like, how they losing them? Florida had injuries. Another team, I'm off kilter, but another team that had injuries was Iowa State. Iowa State had a lot of injuries this year. They're better than what they look. So if they get their players back, they good. Iowa State and Florida. So I got Florida in that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great head-to-head matchup between those final 4 teams in the SEC. Going to really determine who comes out to be the number 1 seed. Right now, you got Florida on the cusp of being number 1, also along with Auburn. So it'll be interesting to see if you see those two go up head-to-head, and no matter who wins, will both of them still get the number 1 seed?
Florida ain't getting the number 1 seed. Their body of work don't show you a number 1 seed.
Yeah,
Auburn has been number 1.
Florida gets the 1 either.
Florida ain't getting no number 1. Auburn has been number 1 throughout the year. Duke is gonna get number 1 seed with or without Cooper Flag being healthy. Auburn will too. Florida will not get a number 1 seed. Trust me. Their body of work don't show you that.
Everybody calling for them being top seed.
For what?
What do you mean for what?
Think about this. Florida haven't been number 1 all year. Yes or no? I ain't been number 1 all year.
I don't know
all
the answer.
Year.
So who right now the locks? Auburn, Duke, Who the other two locks at one
It's
seed?
Duke, Houston, Auburn, and Florida.
Houston
go get a number 1 seed probably in the South. Auburn will probably go.
No, Auburn got the South. Duke had the East. Houston will probably be the Midwest.
Duke go East. Duke go East.
West.
If Florida pulls it off, they got a shot at a 1 seed. If they win it today,
I don't think they do.
I think they got a shot.
Florida ain't been number 1 all year. Hell, they ain't been number 2 all year. How you gonna give them a number 1 seed?
Some teams was only number 1 for a week.
A lot of teams.
Florida ain't never been number 1. Matter of fact, Florida ain't never been number 2.
Remember they climbed though.
Right.
Was Florida even ranked at the beginning of the year?
They was ranked, but Florida ain't been number 1 or number 2 all year.
How you gonna
you can't jump up and give them a number 1 seed? You can't do that.
How are you gonna take a team that's 29-4 in the SEC and not who are you gonna rank above them?
Bro, you ain't been number 1 or number 2. Hell, number 3 all year.
Well, name
you jump up and make you a number 1.
Name your 4th 1 seed.
No, it don't work that way, bro.
So who's your 4th 1? We said Auburn, Duke,
Houston. I got Auburn.
Duke, Houston.
Duke probably be number 1 East. Houston, I think, will be South, if not Midwest.
No, they'll be Midwest. Auburn and South. They're gonna be number 1 overall seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who gets West?
Maybe number 1 overall seed.
I'm trying to think of number 4 now.
So that means Florida got a chance. The fact you got to think about
it. Florida ain't been, bro. You can't look, man. When you get a top 4 seed and you host a region, like you're the number 1 team in the West, you have to be at least have been number 1, number 2, number 3 all year. You've never been there.
You still ain't gave us another number 1 though. Somebody got to get it.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna be Florida.
Well, give me some more teams,
bro. You have to. the top seeds are made of teams that has at least been number 1, at least been number 2.
That's not true.
All year long.
No, and the rankings have been Florida in there.
I'm not saying Florida is not good. What I'm saying is you haven't been number 1 worthy all year.
So then it depends on how it ends because it's been jumbled all year, right? We didn't had many number 1s. It's been jumbled.
I agree with that.
So now
I agree with that.
If you talk about being in the SEC and being 29-4 in a conference that's about to get 13 in, I think they got a shot, bro. I think 2 of them can be 1 seeds. I think if they win the day, they definitely got a good shot. We'll know tomorrow, though. We'll definitely know tomorrow.
So y'all saying if they win the SEC tournament, they're number 1 seed?
I think they'll get it.
I think Florida's number 1 as long as they win today. They could lose to Auburn tomorrow. As long as they win today, they'll be a number 1 seed. They'll be a top seed. I mean, if you look at all of the bracketology shows, they got them as top seed. And I don't know what other teams.
Think my number 4. Go ahead. I'm gonna think of it though. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we can circle back. We get a chance. So we talked about the strength and dominance of the SEC. There's also a second tier conference out there, and that's the Big Ten. And they got a lot of teams in here right now, probably at least 8 teams that got a chance of making it, maybe even 10 teams got a chance of making it in the tournament. But some of those teams are kind of falling, especially with tournament play. Like only 3 ranked teams are remaining in the Final 4 in the Big Ten tournament. So my question out to y'all is there a Big Ten team that you feel has a real chance of winning the NCAA tournament? KDL, you go ahead.
If you're gonna pick anybody, you got to pick Michigan State.
Yeah.
That's the only Big Ten team that got a shot at it. I don't see, like, you go down the list. Michigan is not winning the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Ohio State is not winning the NCAA tournament. So if you're gonna pick anybody, Iowa, like none of that. Wisconsin will win a couple games and then they buy out. They do it every year.
Yep.
If you pick anybody this year, You're gonna go Michigan State. They go the furthest.
So Gandy asked, "Can Michigan State get that last spot? Michigan State won. Would they get over Florida?
If Michigan State wins the Big Ten, they might give it to them. If they win the Big Ten, they might give it to them.
No, if anybody will climb up, they got to win their conference tournament, of course. St. John's will climb up to 4 because they 29.
St. John?
Yeah, they 29-4.
St. John's squad this year too.
And
they balling.
Yeah,
they ball. They ball.
I watched them the other night. They got a for real squad, and they play defense.
So
they're gonna be a problem in the tournament.
Would you put a Big East team over a Big Ten team?
Yeah, if it's St. John's, yeah. So let me throw something out here for you. So you mentioned we talked about the teams that got a good possibility. Let me talk to you about this Michigan team. And they playing today, and we're gonna kind of see what Michigan do today. But this Michigan team, I got a stat line here for you. They got 9 seniors on this team, right?
Yep.
Okay. They've already been to 2 Sweet 16s. They won a Big Ten title in 2021. They won. They've had 4 seasons of over 10 Big Ten regular season wins. This Michigan team stacked full of veterans, and it's teams like that when you get into the tournament that can become very, very scary. I'm not saying that they could win it all, but I don't feel like you should count out this Michigan team based upon those numbers alone.
Oh yeah, Michigan gonna be a problem. Michigan gonna
that Michigan team wouldn't beat Michigan State.
Sweet 16. I can even see Elite 8. Like they can be an issue. That's
really?
All come down. That's gonna come down to matchups. It depends on where they fall, what seed. Like
they're gonna be Midwest wherever they go. They're gonna be Midwest.
Right. So then it's gonna depend on seed. Right. It's gonna depend on where they get seeded.
You don't know for sure if they're gonna be Midwest.
But what they gonna send them out west? If they go east, they did. If they go east, they did.
In the West bracket, I don't mean they going out west to go play. You know, they changed that shit where, you know, teams play more regionally, but they could be in different brackets. So it just all depends on the seeding. I think that's what counts more than anything else. But I just caution, you know, I think they got a real chance of making some noise in this tournament.
If they run into Michigan State, that's a loss.
Well, that'll be for the conference chip.
Yeah. They may not end up in the same bracket also. So
they won't. Michigan State will go Midwest, East.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They may not end up in the same bracket, but Michigan can match up with a lot of teams in this tournament. Like they can be an issue. That's why I said it depends on what region they in.
They say Michigan out west.
Right. It depends on region and the seed where they fall, but they can be a problem.
If Michigan beats Maryland today, and Maryland's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michigan will beat Maryland.
And they lose to Michigan State. I still feel like going into the tournament, and depending on how they lose, going into the tournament, that's going to be a scary team to go up against.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So along those lines, you know, we talked about all of these teams that we feel have a chance to make some noise in the tournament. Do anybody have a dark horse team or a team that they looking to make a tournament run? And I'll start off with this. I got my eye on 2 teams to make a deep tournament run. Number 1 is that St. John's team. They sitting at number 6 right now. Could easily be a 2 seed in any bracket. Will be a 2 seed in any bracket. And it'll give a lot of teams a lot of problems. I watched them beat the brakes off of Marquette the other night. I think this team is very, very scary going into the tournament.
Well coached too.
And very well coached.
My dark horse is Tennessee.
I
want to see where they get matched up at. Probably put them in the South. But I want to see where they get matched up with my dark horse, Tennessee.
Tennessee got a legit shot.
Definitely.
And they coming into the tournament, kind of streaking a little bit. But I'm with you, KDL. That's a scary team, and they've been low key in the top 10
scary, bro.
for the majority of the season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like.
They were number one, and then as soon as they got number one, they lost on Big Monday.
Yeah, I like both y'all picks, but I'm with D. I'm gonna lean towards St. John's, even though I do like Tennessee too. And because St. John's is, I think what it is they don't get the TV time. They kind of flying the radar. Their conference not as, in this media spotlight. But man, that's a good squad, man. Every time I saw them play this year, they look good and they're well coached. So, but
St. John's going east, y'all know that.
But for the sake of it, just to have a different team in the dark horse. Hell, why not Michigan? I mean, just what you put out there, the seniors, they've been to the tournament, they've been there, they know what it takes. So just as a dark horse, you know what I mean?
I don't trust them.
Just as a dark horse, and like I said prior, depending on where they fall. It depends on where they fall. You'll look up, and they could be an Elite 8 type squad.
Yeah.
You know how this go. You know how this go.
They good, depending on where they fall, wherever their matchup is. But I don't trust them like that. You know what I mean? They're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't finna. My brackets ain't moving because of Michigan. Let me just say that.
Keep an eye on them today. They play at 2:30 today. Keep an eye on them today. Take a look. Watch that game today and see what
I've seen them play. I've seen them play.
You can't guarantee anything when we talking about teams that make a tournament run. It don't necessarily have to be a team that's gonna go to the Final Four, but maybe a team that could stretch it out to the Elite 8. I'm gonna throw 3 more teams out there for you. 30-3 right now. Drake. They 7-1 versus top 100 in the NCAA. Watch out for Drake.
And if they run into Michigan State, goodbye.
Another team is Bradley. Bradley's sitting at 26-8, and they 2-2 versus top 50. So those are teams, and then you got VCU at 26-6. Those are teams with strong conference records, strong records versus top 100 or top 50, and they thriving as they go into the end of the year.
And they senior heavy too, right?
All 3 of them. That Drake team.
Usually those small schools, usually they are senior heavy, and you learn about them as the tournament goes on.
Right.
This dude done got 1,000 points at the school.
Right.
This dude done been the leading scorer in the conference. Like, you learn about them as the tournament goes on. That happens every year.
Absolutely. All right. So we obviously got our dark horse picks. Keep an eye on conference tournament games this weekend, and then I know we'll all be tuned in tomorrow for Selection Sunday. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. Let's jump into a little bit of NFL right now and talk about NFL free agency. What a whirlwind of a week it's been. And I thought last week was kind of the culmination of all of this. And obviously we heard the news about all the moves that the Bears made. We'll start with that. Start with our Chicago Bears, and they, of course, made the biggest splashes coming into free agency, signing the center that we all were looking for with Drew Dahlman. We made our trades for Jackson and Tunney, and then picking up Grady Jarrett from the Atlanta Falcons at like the last minute. Ryan Poles
got cut. As soon as he got released.
And Ryan Poles mentioned this during his press conference. He said he looked at social media that morning and saw it and immediately began making phone calls. So, look, I'm going to go to you. Did the Bears win the offseason for the second year in a row with these moves?
Yeah, they did. And I think But I think that what they just did this week was like the icing on the cake. You know, I've been in a lot of groups and having a lot of conversations. I think the biggest win was Ben Johnson and the coaching staff. I think that's the biggest win. You know, for all the talks of you know, the O-line and the trenches and this, that, and other, their biggest weakness, their biggest issue was coaching. And like Sean always say, coaching matters. So that and the staff that Ben Johnson's put together, I think is really like that's really it. Now to on paper fix the trenches. On paper, let's because you got to be careful with that. On paper to fix the trenches the way they did, O-line and D-line, I think it's just like I said, it's the cherry on top of the sundae. Now we got the draft, and not being able to go into the draft and not be position strapped. You can kind of go in the draft and play with it. You can draft a number of positions. I mean, think about it. The Bears starting lineups are pretty much on both sides of the ball is set already. You know, so now you're just able to go into the draft and accumulate talent, no matter what position it is. They can draft any position on the board outside of quarterback and punter and kicker, but they can draft any position: linebacker, DN, D tackle, left offensive tackle, receiver, running back. You know, like they just in that position where they could just stockpile talent. So yeah, they won. I think they won the offseason again, but the reason they won the offseason is because it's Ben Johnson and the coaching staff.
This has to play out on the field because you won the all season last year with all those weapons, and you won 5-6 games. So this has to play out on the field. Yes, you shored up the offensive line free agency.
I said on paper, Kev. I said on paper.
well, I got to reiterate this because
off season.
Hold on, man.
Off season, not.
I get it. But y'all won the off season last year, and y'all was so excited, and you won 5 games. And I told y'all from the beginning,
right? We didn't go backwards like some other teams did.
I said last year this has to play out on the field. I was the one that said that. Everybody was winning the division. Everybody was 9-10 wins. We're gonna take over the North. All that because y'all had all them weapons. Remember that? I was the one that sat on this panel and say, "Hey, man, it looked good on paper. Has to play out on the field." I was the only one said that. All of a sudden,
did the Bears win the offseason, Kev? You
won the offseason last year.
Right. That's what we just said. Did they win the offseason?
So are you winning the offseason so far with the moves you made and the needs you had? Yeah. Because you showed up the offensive line. You're going to make sure your quarterback don't take 70 sacks. So if you want to look at it like that, yeah. You won the offseason so far with the moves you made. You other people got wide receivers, defensive ends, and all that. You did what you needed to do, which was show up the offensive line through free agency. Now you ain't got your first pick ain't got to be an offensive lineman. Ain't got to be a tackle. Now you can if you get the running back, that's a luxury now. Because you went out and addressed what you needed free agency wise.
The field needs.
Now the running back is a luxury toy now. If you want to take him at 10.
I'm gonna say this, and I mentioned this, a couple weeks ago when we talked about this. Right now, if I'm Ryan Poles, I think there's probably 2 names at the top of my list, and you hoping that they're gonna fall a 10. Number 1, probably Mason Graham, and then number 2 is gonna be Genty. A lot of the talk about Genty climbing up to the Bears at 10. I don't know how legitimate that is. I'm not sure how much Ben Johnson feels like he fits. Obviously, they interviewed him at the Combine, so they looking at him. But if those 2 names are off the board at 10, if I'm the Bears, I'm taking 10 and I'm moving down and try to get some more picks. I think you could leverage that number 10 pick, still get you another, maybe swap first rounders get another 2 or 3, whatever price that comes with it. I think at this point, because you shored up so much of those holes, and granted, you still got to have depth, but what better way to increase depth, especially while you got these guys on rookie contracts and they can all grow together, than by establishing and banking those picks.
The Cowboys want him too. Jerry Jones want him.
Want who? Gentry?
I don't know where they pick, but they want Gentry. So I don't know where they pick, but the Cowboys want him too.
I heard the Raiders want him. You know, now that the Raiders got their quarterback situation figured out, and we'll jump into that here shortly. But
the Raiders in the top 10, right?
Yeah, they got 7. Raiders are sitting at 7. And everybody, you know, we talked earlier. Everybody was saying all the pre-draft boards had Shedeur going to Vegas, and based upon all these interviews, and you know, they kind of really trying to taint him. And I don't know why they putting dirt on this kid's name because of who his dad is, and they talk about his arrogance and things like that. When you look at him and you look at him on that field, it's not about all of that. And you obviously want somebody, especially the quarterback, to have a little bit of that cockiness. You cannot have a guy to come up in and not be ready to take on that role of leading an NFL team. So the Raiders still don't know what direction they're going to go in. They obviously got their quarterback situation straightened out. They may look to draft a quarterback later, but I think
is just there, dog. He's just there.
I got to take on Shedeur. I got to take on Shedeur.
Geno is just there as a bridge quarterback for whoever they draft. Geno is going to groom them. They ain't got their quarterback straight. Geno is just there.
It could be more conspiracy. I think a lot of people, a lot of teams, there's already questions with his arm and things like that. And I think the fact that, you know, the league is kind of gearing more towards these athletic, dual threat quarterbacks who can run. And Shedeur isn't a runner. He's a pocket passer, right? He's a pure pocket passer. There's some questions of his arm strength, but I think it goes as far as Deion. I think some teams don't want to deal with the circus. Some teams, and it's not saying Deion did nothing wrong, just a persona. And you know, when you take him, you take Shedeur, you taking Deion and the media circus that comes with it. And I don't think some teams want to deal with it. And I will say, man, I only heard one other commentator kind of mention it. If you look at the combine, man, he came off a little like, you know, he in there with the hat broke off. He like, yeah, I thought he was drunk personally, but you know, he just came off a little too like, yeah, you know, because you chains on, you know what I mean? And that scares a lot of teams, man. I think that could have scared a team that probably had him there. Because you notice the Raiders went out and got Geno after that. Now, and it's also, I think it's some people that may some teams that may feel like he's not a day one star, right? He's a talent, but it may help him to sit behind a Geno Smith type for a year. So I agree with you, Kev. He's not Geno's not the future, but I just don't know how they feel about Shedeur. And I think a lot of teams are very skeptical because for next year's quarterback class, well, I think they're saying could be 5 first rounders. So, you know, I don't think nobody wants to end up like Carolina when they jumped the gun and Bryce Young, and then the next year you had, you know, Caleb, Jayden, and all these cats come out. So, but I think some of it is his dad. Some of
it is his dad, and rightfully so. But yeah, he come off arrogant, right? But I shouldn't have to go to the combine and throw because you see me play. See me play for 2 years. You got all the tape in the world you want on me. You could tell me I hold the ball too long, I take too many sacks. I could tell you it's the offensive line. Either way, I showed you I got talent, right? I don't have to come here. I'll do interviews, right? But I'm Deion Sanders' son. So, yeah, I'm going to come in a little arrogant. Yeah, I'm going to come in hat to the back, whatever, because I'm Deion Sanders' son. And I might not be the best quarterback coming out, but I'm one of them.
Yeah,
Go
definitely.
down and listen, name 5 quarterbacks better than me coming out this year.
No. But it's also considered a weak.
I might not be your number one
class. It's considered a weak
well,
quarterback.
yeah. Oh, well, I agree with that. I might not be your number one pick, right? I'm not a surefire number one pick. I'm one of them.
So let me ask you, does he fall out of the top 10?
He might. He might.
So
I told y'all this all year that he wasn't a surefire nothing. I told y'all, and y'all was man, the Giants got to take him. The Giants got to take him. No, they don't, because they ain't impressed with him, and neither is the league. I told y'all this all year. Will he get drafted first round? Yes. Is he a surefire top 3, top 5? No. I told y'all this. I said,
DY, what's that? Wait, hold on. Go ahead. What you said, DY?
So here's my thing about him falling out of the first round. You still got teams out there that are looking to solidify, quarterback position. You still got Cleveland, you still got Tennessee, you still have the Giants, and possibly, well, I don't think New Orleans is going to draft no quarterback. So you got 3 or 4 teams in that top 10 that's still looking for quarterbacks. Obviously, he is one of the top 3 quarterbacks. I push back a little bit on the whole Deion thing and being a distraction or the circus that comes along with it. Because let me tell you something.
Wow.
When the draft comes and it's that time of year, what's Deion going to be doing? It's going to be spring ball time in Colorado.
Getting ready for Colorado, right?
He going to be engaged and getting his team ready.
He's watching his son. Don't do that.
Right. Don't think he ain't going to be around.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And he'll be working behind the scenes, but I push back against the whole circus. He's not going to be like LeVar Ball doing interviews like, yeah, my son this. No, he going to do his stuff from afar is my point. It's not going to be as circus like I think as everybody put it. And the second piece of that puzzle is he ain't the number one pick. He's not the best quarterback that's coming out this year.
Right.
So I think
I agree with that.
I think a lot of that skepticism has been unwarranted on him. And I think it's also creating a chip on his shoulder. And I'm hoping he can use that to manifest into something great when he comes into the league. All I'm hoping for is all good things, and I hope he get to the right franchise. I think Deion's greatest impact is going to be what franchise he goes to and what they're going to end up doing, because this might turn out to be the stepping stone for Deion to come back to the NFL, depending on where he's drafted. So kind of keep that in mind too.
So you don't think Deion is going to have an influence on where he go? So based on what you just said, you think Deion is going to let it play out, and then wherever he go, Deion comes in at that. Is that your thoughts?
I think Deion has only clicked up with a few of these teams that are looking for quarterbacks. Like I don't see him in his ties to Cleveland right now, but Las Vegas, possibly New York. Yeah. I could easily see him. Maybe even Tennessee. But obviously they're not going to take him. But Tennessee could take that one pick. Let me move down a few spots, and we'll take Shedeur at 10 or 12 or whatever it is.
Well, I think Deion will have an influence on wherever he goes.
I think the first thing you have to do
Deion will be a huge influence wherever he goes.
I think with somebody like Shedeur, he needs to go somewhere, where they have a quarterback developer, offensive-minded head coach. Somebody that he can actually develop under. Because like I said, I don't think he's a day one starter and is going to come in and light it up. So, example, let's put it all together. Like we saying, open the door for Deion to coach again. The Raiders, Pete Carroll's 70-something years old. He's not going to be coaching long. Then you got Geno there. So he can sit for a year or two, maybe until his dad, and then Pete Carroll goes out, and maybe that opens the door. They got the Brady connection and all that. And he's worked with Tom Brady, and he's worked out with Brady. So that type of situation. But outside of that, I don't know. I would say the Giants because I still think Brian Dable is an offensive mind and he can develop quarterbacks. I just don't think he has the time though. I think him and that GM are on their way out. So that I think
the Giants got to make the playoffs next year. He's fired.
Yeah, but the problem is, you bring in a rookie quarterback which means you're probably not going to be that good. I mean, we know the Jaden Daniels and the CJ Stroud shit that just happened, but that's far and few between. So I don't know if bringing him in is that going to buy Dable and the GM a little time. I don't think it is. So
it's not.
Outside of those two situations, man. I like Cleveland because it's Stefanski, but I think they'll end up with Cam Ward at the end of the day. They'll take Cam first. I'm just looking at the top 10 and just how it falls. I just don't know where Shador would be the best situation for him. And I know that's what Dion wants too. And he's going to have.
Well, he's not. But you said it though. He's not a day one starter.
Right. I don't think he's a day one starter.
So I think all in all, the way you got to look at it is the right fit for wherever he gonna go. And it's good we kind of brought this up because as we continue on and discuss free agency, let's talk a little bit about the quarterback merry-go-round, the quarterback shuffle, as I like to call it, that's been going on here, and seeing where the remaining chips are gonna fall. So you had Sam Darnold finally signed a contract, decides to go to Seattle, get back with his old offensive coordinator, and see if he can do some things there. And he got his payday, which was somewhat well deserved. And then we just talked about Geno leaving Seattle and going to Las Vegas, reuniting with Pete Carroll. And then the other chip to fall, Justin Fields, finally getting the opportunity to be the man over in New York. Got some weapons over there too. Not sure how the organization is going to treat him or the media for that fact. But the last two chips and probably the two chips that's been talked about the most amongst all of these players, number one, Aaron Rodgers. What does Aaron Rodgers do? And then the fallout from that is going to be what's Russell Wilson going to do? So, look, where does Aaron Rodgers go out of free agency?
You know what I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think somehow he ends up in Minnesota. It's looking, the fact that he's kind of taking his time. The Giants just don't make sense for him at 42 years old. The Giants don't make sense. Pittsburgh, to me, I think Pittsburgh would be the best situation for him, even though I think he's just completely washed up personally, but that's probably the best situation for him. But I think it's something to this Minnesota thing. And so I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
Wow, really? Because I have not been hearing a whole lot of him going to Minnesota.
It's heavy.
KDL, where's Aaron Rodgers going?
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh, which is the reason why Russell Wilson is running around taking interviews. I think Russell knows he's out. Yeah. And if push comes to shove and Aaron Rodgers don't go to Pittsburgh, Russ could end up back in Pittsburgh. But there's a reason Russell Wilson is running around taking interviews. He knows he's done. I think the inside word, he's going to Pittsburgh. He's making him wait because he's Aaron Rodgers. But I think Mike Tomlin, hey man, we in win now mode. We ain't with all that diva shit. We're not doing that Pat McAfee shit. We're not doing none of that. I need you to take us. I got you, DK Metcalf. I got you another basket case, which is Pickens. I got rid of Najee Harris, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna get you a running back. We in win now mode. I don't see him going to Minnesota because you go in that locker room and they're in win now mode. If you go in that locker room with all that diva shit, I don't think the coach having it. I don't see him on the Giants because the Giants are not ready to win. So I agree with you. He ain't going to New York. I don't see that. I don't see Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers going to New York. I really don't. They're not ready to win. Those guys are at the back end of their career, man. They want to at least step in the locker room where I got a chance. right? I got a chance. So I think it's Pittsburgh.
Let me lay a scenario out for you. So Aaron Rodgers decides he wants to go to New York. Just putting it out there. Russ in turn says, "Hey, Pittsburgh, you didn't believe in me. You didn't want to keep me here. I'm going to Cleveland because Cleveland still got a squad." What does that mean for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what the hell can they do at the quarterback position at this point?
You mean if Rodgers and Russ?
Yep.
They lose out on both?
Yep.
Mason Rudolph came back.
Mason Rudolph. At that point,
he came back.
At that point, you got to wait for Kirk Cousins. If you Pittsburgh, that's your next point. You got to wait for Atlanta to release Kirk Cousins because it's coming. They're going to release him. So you got to sit there and wait. You can't go in. It's already enough heat in Pittsburgh. Fans are fed up with just getting to the playoffs. Like, okay, we ready to move, take a next step. So you can't go rookie. They have to land a veteran, whether they come back with Russ, whether Rodgers decides and
Kirk Cousins down on the list though. They can lose out. Now,
so soon as Atlanta releases him, I'm telling you, it's going to be down to it's going to be those three teams that need quarterbacks. Hell, Cousins can end up in New York as a bridge quarterback. You know what I mean? Like like the Pittsburgh and the Steelers and the Giants cannot go into the season with their quarterback rooms the way they are.
Well, of course not. Well, we know that. We know that.
Nobody in there. So you got to, and you don't feel great about the rookies. You can't go in there like that. Now, the Giants could probably maybe a team that are more fit for a rookie, they situation, because you're not expected to win, they rebuilding and all that.
Nope. They wouldn't got to win, bro. They out.
But teams like Pittsburgh and Minnesota, like y'all say, they in win now mode. You got to bring one of them in.
You think Kirk Cousins is going to come to Pittsburgh? Because obviously, if Pittsburgh don't get one of those two, they're going to have to draft a quarterback. They're going to have to.
But they're going to draft a quarterback regardless.
You don't have to draft a quarterback in the first round.
Right.
People look at when you draft a quarterback that it has to be first round, and it doesn't. You don't have to do that. Yeah. The teams that need quarterbacks, you don't necessarily have to use your first pick to get said quarterback. As long as you draft a quarterback in the draft, you good. It doesn't have to be your first pick.
But who's going to be the bridge? But if you Pittsburgh and you in that division, right, with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, you're in that division. Fans getting a little itchy.
They got to go free agency. They got to go free agency.
But it's dried up. Who's out there?
Well, whoever they draft going to be better than what they had. Look, man, you're right. We don't know what's going to happen because Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson needs to get somewhere. And then I guarantee you quarterback's going to pop up out of nowhere. So that domino has to fall first. And then you'll see, oh, well, damn, I didn't know he was a free agent. Damn, I didn't know he got cut. Damn, I didn't know. And the dominoes will start to fall.
So, I mean, Carson Wentz, he out there.
Well, I'm just saying, all these recycled quarterbacks is out there, but their names not being mentioned because Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson is at the forefront.
I don't know who else out
watch
there.
Watch where Aaron Rodgers signed. Watch quarterback.
Dalton signed back with Carolina. Andy Dalton, who's the rest of his career as a bridge quarterback, he already signed.
Oh, he there for mentorship.
Right. So I don't know who's out there.
There really ain't nobody else left out there. I mean, every name you can think of: Jacoby Brissett to Arizona, Josh Dobbs to New England, Mac Jones to the Niners, Garoppolo to the Rams, Kenny Pickett to the Browns, Zach Wilson to Miami, Daniel Jones to the Colts, and then of course Justin to New York. So it's either Kirk Cousins or bust if the scenario plays out. But here's something I find very interesting as we talked a little bit earlier about the Shador. If those teams at the top we think best fits for him and they decide not to draft him, could he fall? If he falls to 21 at Pittsburgh, do they take that shot? Because you put him with Tomlin under Deion's guidance or whatever you want to call it.
Deion will be with that. Yeah.
Would that be a possible marriage made in heaven for Shador?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has the defense. They got a hell of a defense. They're gonna always have that. They got a hell of a defense.
If he falls to 21, yeah.
It's gotta be a great situation for him.
So if you Pittsburgh, you go ahead and pull that trigger.
Oh, definitely. But I think you would still need a veteran at least for a year.
Yeah, I would still pull Cousins.
Yeah, no. He's not starting. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you take him
before the season over.
Yeah.
Well, you got to put him out there depending on where. But you take him if he falls 21 and you take him. Yes.
Yeah, you definitely take him.
All right, a lot of interesting things coming out of free agency, and we getting ready. We got a little abbreviated show this week, so we're gonna get ready to tackle some NBA real quick in our last 30 minutes. So, hottest team in basketball right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago. Did everybody believe in Cleveland? Did everybody think they could do it ahead of their matchup with the Boston Celtics, which they went to Boston and won? Cleveland Cavs have won 16 straight. 14 of those games, they've scored 110 points. And the last team to do that was the 1986 Celtics, which, of course, won the NBA title. So, KDL, do you believe in Cleveland now?
I believe in them. I'm not ready to say they're NBA champions, though. Right?
Can they come out of the East?
I believe in them. If they stay healthy, they're good. But I don't see them beating Boston, dog.
Ooh.
Not in a 7-game series.
Ooh.
I don't. If Boston is fully healthy and Cleveland is fully healthy, I think Boston is the better team. Boston will get them. I'm not even saying it might go 7. It might. But I think Cleveland is right there. But are they ready to beat them dudes? Nope. Not beating Boston in a 7-game series. They're not.
You know what? I was spewing that same sentiment for all year. But the more I see this team, man, they look good. They top to bottom, man. I think outside of injuries, man, they got the guard play. They got the superstar Mitchell. They got the bigs. They got the bench. They well coached. Man, now my concern would be, winning the 16 in a row. Are they shooting they wide a little too soon? You know what I mean? It's possible they could burn out because now we get to the playoffs. We talking condensed schedule. Luckily for them, the East is so weak. Like they first 2 rounds should be cakewalks. Other than just getting ready for Boston. I don't know what's going on with Brunson. If he'll be, he should be. I don't know if he'll be back. I'm pretty sure he's coming back. But if Boston has to kind of
healthy, it don't matter. Cleveland.
If Boston has to kind of go through a series with New York going into Cleveland, like it's hard to watch that team and say they don't have a legitimate shot. Like and they get more and more TV time, so I'm getting a chance to really watch them. They have not lost since they picked up DeAndre Hunter. And he's still getting acclimated.
And they picked up DeAndre Hunter just to guard Tatum and Brown. You know that,
right?
Yeah. Whoever hot, you guard. But I mean, man, I can't honestly say they can't beat Boston in 7. I was saying that before, but I'm changing my tune, man.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm changing my tune. Boston better not come out there all cocky. I'll tell you that much. They better not go into that series cocky, thinking we the champs. We can turn it on anytime.
I agree with that. it's gonna be a battle. But I just don't think top to bottom, healthy wise, if Boston, if Porzingis puts them over the top, man, that's the icing on the cake. And I don't think Cleveland can overcome that. On their best day,
Porzingis
it'll
ain't
go
played
7.
in 5 straight games all year. Shit.
But that's why they rest.
You know Porzingis' body cannot take a playoff schedule.
But that's why they resting him for the playoff. Porzingis missed here and there games, right? Out of nowhere. They're doing that once you ready for the end of April on.
I ain't counting them out.
I don't think Cleveland can overcome that, bro. They're good, but Boston healthy plus Porzingis puts them over the top. It's a matchup.
They better than good. That's a squad.
Cleveland has the best home record right now, sitting at the number 1 seed in the East, 8.5 games ahead of Boston. They 30-4 at home. So obviously having that home court advantage means something going into the playoffs.
You think Boston can't go to Cleveland and win?
Boston can go anywhere and win. I will never count the defending champs out. Boston has done it.
Well,
they are battle-proven team. I just feel like we not giving Cleveland enough credit for the things that they've done. And we've seen this before. Oklahoma City's a perfect example. Team that go through and kill through the regular season. Go spectacular record, MVP candidate. Get to the playoffs and it's out in the second round. So we've seen this before. I don't feel like this Cleveland team falls into that just off of watching them. I feel like they're a little bit tougher than that OKC team. That OKC team to me seems a little bit more finesse and light in the ass than I see a little bit more grit and toughness out of that Cleveland team.
Well, the thing with when you talk OKC is it's pretty much SGA and the crew, right? Like if he's off any day, they don't have a shot. Cleveland, I don't see that. If Mitchell's off, they got dogs, dude. Like Mitchell don't have to go out and put up 30, 35 a game for that team.
I'm not saying they're not good. I just don't think they're better than Boston.
Right.
That's all.
No, I'm just comparing to like how you're saying with OKC. And then OKC's going to have tougher matchups because they're going to run into Denver. They're going to run the Lakers, Golden State.
They're going to run into better team.
And Minnesota's up and coming. Minnesota's pushing again. They starting to look good again. They getting healthy. Got Gobert back. So they definitely would have a tough something. Man, that Cleveland team. I don't see no weaknesses, man. I don't see no weaknesses in no positions. Bench, no. I just don't see no weaknesses in that squad.
Well, before we shift to the Western Conference, I have to mention, Boston 7-3 in their last 10. They getting ready here in the final stretches. It's easy to believe, and I know they pretty much locked in at 2. It ain't no point of them trying to make a run to catch Cleveland. So obviously you're gonna see going into the playoffs, Boston kind of getting their players healthy. You talked about Porzingis and him getting some time off. You may kind of see Tatum off a game, Brown off a game, getting ready for this second playoff push. And obviously, going to the finals last year, those games kind of wear you down a little bit during this time of year. So obviously they're gonna kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit. Do you know who the second hottest team in the East is? And it's not Boston. After Cleveland.
It's Indiana, ain't it?
Nope.
Detroit.
Nope. It is your Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, the Bulls on the street.
We talked about.
No, it's your Chicago Bulls.
Oh well, excuse me.
Can't even tank.
I forgot you.
Our Chicago Bulls, baby. Yes.
I forgot you remote in from Montana or some shit like that.
Well, don't worry about it. You say your.
Chicago Bulls have won 4 straight. We talked about them a couple weeks ago. I put the question out, y'all, who's gonna make the play-in? Who make the playoffs from the play-in? And all 3 of those teams, Miami's lost 6 in a row. Let's see, Orlando's 3-7 in their last 10 games. You know, Atlanta's the only team that's still kind of holding tight. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. I start back watching the Bulls.
Yeah.
Low key, like obviously we're not gonna tank for this pick. So let me see what these
You need to.
And we guard heavy. I get it, but they're a little bit entertaining to watch right now, especially Giddey, Buzelis, and then Kobe. Man, Kobe White ascension right now.
But Giddey, how long is Giddey out?
I think it's only a few games.
Okay.
I think it's only a few games.
Well, first of all, how you found the channel? That's number one. And number two, do you realize that since the play-in started, the Bulls play Atlanta every year in the play-in?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all realize that?
I mean,
Atlanta gonna lose.
The Bulls are that team you don't want to see in a one game because they play hard.
Damn straight.
I mean,
they play hard.
They play hard. That's all. That's credit to Billy Donovan. Like you could want to tank all you want, but those guys go out there and they play hard. So you know, it's to me, it's still NBA hell because they not bad enough to get a top pick, especially in this year's draft where you got some game changes, and they're not good enough to contend. So you just kind of stuck in that play in, maybe get an 8th seed or a 7th seed. You kind of just stuck, you know.
Yeah. And you stuck playing Atlanta every year. You and Atlanta in the same position every year. Now that should be an eye opener. Like, you know what? How we keep ended up 9 and 10 every year? Yeah. Not 7 and 8. 9 and 10 every year.
It is an eye opener, but it's only eye opener to us as passionate fans who want to see this team and know what this team was capable of in previous years. But you know, regardless of all of that, they are what they are. They obviously aiming for whatever it is they aiming for. It's not a championship, but they aiming to remain,
what they aiming for?
To remain relevant and keep butts in the seat, which they obviously doing.
But not relevant.
But they become entertaining to watch again. I didn't watch no Bulls games, none this year, until maybe the last 2 weeks.
Hey, Sean, don't forget about
it probably took you all year to find the channel.
I'm too, baby.
I got DirecTV, so I get every game.
You got YouTube TV.
So, all right, moving on to the West before we finish off. Unfortunately, gotta bring this up. Lakers on the skid right now. Obviously, with 4 starters out, they lost 4 games in a row. Last night they put forth a valiant effort. Austin Reeves with 37, 13, and 8 against Denver in Denver. Had a chance to tie the game up at the end, and Fluky Stokes threw that pass halfway across the court. Guys stole.
They actually put a better effort up than I thought they would. I thought they was going to get blown out last night.
And it's one thing I want to mention about this team is they don't give up. Despite not having, you know what I'm saying, three of their best players out, you know what I'm saying, and 4 starters
out. Let's call it what it is. Actually, they were missing 4 starters last night. Let's call it what it is.
But I'm just saying 3 of their best players. So regardless of what it is, they still put up some grit. I feel like they need to do everything they can, and they slid a few spots. They was 3 a week and a half ago. Now they down to 5.
They were 2. They were 2.
They were all up to 2.
Okay, at 2. But I don't think they could fall into that play-in and make that extra games that's got to be played. I think they got to stay within that 1 through 6 spot going into the playoffs. So,
yes.
Look, how do you see this the story being told for the Lakers for the rest of the season?
I think they get up to 4. They go into the playoffs healthy and make a run. I mean, when they healthy, the way Redick has them playing defense, LeBron looked like he's on a mission for whatever reason. He just looked like he turned the clock back even more this season. and Luka's starting to look like Luka. You know what I mean? Luka's starting to look like that dude again. So you can't count them out. If they got Luka and LeBron, you can't count them out. I think people are discrediting the loss of Rui. Rui's been out for a minute. He got hurt in that Knicks game. Rui's been out for a minute. Rui is big for them because he can guard bigs. You know, he's a finisher. He can put some points on the board. He's huge. Jackson Hayes, of course, they don't have size as is. So I think missing them, I think even without LeBron, if they'd have had Rui and Jackson Hayes, they may not be on this 4 or 5 game losing streak. So I think they're going. I still got them Western Conference Finals at the minimum. You talk about 7 games, going 7 against Luka and LeBron. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I just think they got to get healthy quick because the last thing you want to do is get these guys back and they got to ramp themselves back up as you head into the playoffs. Now, granted, we a month away from the NBA playoffs, but I think they chose the right time of year to try to say, all right, you know, let me get LeBron. You hurt your groin bones and take these games. I saw LeBron last night at Bryce high school game, high-fiving them because they won the championship. I'm like, you need to be in a parabolic chamber or some shit like that. But obviously, the man know how to take care of himself and his body. And then, like you said, I think Rui was big for his versatility. Jackson, he was starting to come on, especially when Luka got there because he could find ways to get him the ball that nobody else been able to do. Yeah. So I think that's been big. And I think Luka at this point, you know, he kind of came in to LA hurt as it was. I'm hoping this offseason he takes some time. And I hope LeBron can get him on the right track of taking care of that body. Like you may have to start drinking Michelob Ultras instead of those IPAs, you know, and take it easy a little bit.
You ain't got Mike Finley that's snatching the beer out of his hand either.
No, but you do it. But you do have LeBron there. LeBron said, "Hey, come on, drink. I drink wine after every game. Drink this instead of that beer." So hopefully LeBron can put them on. But looking at the rest of the Western Conference, somebody mentioned that Minnesota team won 7 in a row, the hottest team in the West right now, climbing up. Moved all the way back up to number 7. You, of course, got Golden State, who's won 6 in a row and played themselves out of the play-in at the moment at number 6. And then Houston starting to get back on their winning ways with 5 in a row. They moved all the way up to the 3 seed. And then, of course, you know, you got Memphis sandwiched in between there. So out of those top 6 teams, or out of those 4 teams I just mentioned, do you feel like any one of those teams have a shot at the Western Conference chip? Minnesota, Golden State, Houston, Memphis. Do they got a shot of dethroning Denver for that Western Conference title?
Well, you got to say Golden State. Got to go with Golden State. I mean, we still ain't got playoff Jimmy yet. You know, he seems to be fitting in well. They playing with confidence. I mean, they winning even with Steph isn't shooting well. You know, they look like they got their groove back, and just that they battle tested. You know, those vets there, they definitely battle tested. So out of that group, I would have to go with Golden State.
Kev, you jumped off for a minute. Out of these 4 teams, who do you think got a chance of making it to the Western Conference Finals? You got Minnesota, who's won 7 in a row. Golden State won 6 in a row. Houston won 5 in a row, or Memphis. Do any one of those teams got a shot of making it to the Western Conference Finals?
I would say Denver.
I didn't mention Denver.
No, you ain't mentioned Denver.
Out of those 4.
I don't see Golden State making it because at the end of the day, their size gonna hurt them. If Golden State runs into Denver, they out of there. Memphis, maybe. I don't think Houston is ready. Like, they're good, but when they run into vets in the playoff series, I don't think they're ready. Give me Memphis. Okay. Out of those 4, give me Memphis.
I think I'm going to take Minnesota, and because of what they did last year in the playoffs, I know Ant always plays with that chip on his shoulder, and they playing a lot better right now. Out of those teams, I don't think Golden State has the size, but playoff Jimmy is the X factor. Houston, like you said, too young. Hopefully they can do something in the playoffs, at least make it to the second round to show that they starting to climb that ladder. And then you got Memphis, which is kind of a wild card because this was a team 2 years ago when none of us counting them out. You know, we was looking at Memphis ahead of Minnesota, like Memphis with Ja. That's the next team to come out of the West. So now you got a healthy Ja back. You got some of these starters that was out for those that year. So they're all back. If they remain healthy, they could definitely make a run. But I feel like Minnesota's getting hot at the right time. And if they stay healthy, I feel like they got a legitimate chance.
Minnesota gonna let you down, bro.
Oh, damn.
They're gonna let you down, though.
I think the problem with teams like Minnesota and Memphis, though, when you run up against those teams that have those veteran leaders like the Stephs and the LeBrons and the Jokers, because Minnesota can implode at any time. Memphis too, and they don't have that guy on their roster that can reel it in. I get it. Ja is the best player, and Ant is the best player on Minnesota. I get it, but when it's like when shit's unraveling, they don't have that guy that could be like, hey, slow down. Let's pull this shit together. So I think that's what hurts them when you looking at them having to match up with the Lakers or the Nuggets, you know. So that's my only question with them.
So you don't think a year after making the Western Conference Finals, Minnesota, that they've learned there's been some growth from that team, and even with Ja being out for a year and watching everybody else?
I do not. Have you seen Minnesota play this year?
Yeah, we watched them.
It looked like they learned anything from being in the Western Conference Finals. Now here we are in March next year. Do it look like they learned anything?
I think now they're getting to that point because you saw what they've done in the last 2 weeks. I think you're seeing a little bit more now, and they understand, you know, kind of teetering with that play in and being legit in the playoffs is a position that I don't feel like they believe that they belong there or want to stay there. So my expectation for them is to continue to be, you know what I'm saying, that team that's rising. They 8-2. They 8-2 in their last 10. State being 9-1 in their last 10.
If they had Cat this year, I would give them a shot.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll see who comes out of the West. I mean, we obviously going into March Madness, but we also have April Madness, a playoff time with the NBA, which is another very exciting time as we go up in here to the spring.
It is.
All right, so we've reached, you know, that time in the show, one of my favorite points of times in the show, trivia time. All right, so I got a couple good ones up here for y'all. So Steph Curry just hit his 4,000 3-point shot. And he just passed he passed Ray Allen back in 2021. And Ray Allen was at 2974. So about 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000 3-pointers in that time frame. So can you name for me the top 10 all-time 3-point shooters in NBA history? And I'm gonna give you a little bit of hint. Most of them was from 2000 and forward, with the exception of maybe one person, maybe two.
Well, yeah, they weren't chucking up threes like that back then. Plus Steph, Ray. Reggie?
Reggie on that list.
Reggie Miller, Dale Curry.
Dale Curry's not on the list.
No, Dale didn't shoot it that much. He didn't get enough shots.
No,
was Kyle Korver on there?
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver was on there.
That's 4. You got 6 more.
KD.
Nope.
No.
3-point shooters.
Damn.
Is a Barry on there?
Oh,
Who?
Klay Thompson.
Clay's on there. That's 5.
Clay got to be on there.
Couple of these gonna surprise you.
Is a Barry on there?
No.
And the sharpshooters are like
In the 2000s?
From the 2000s forward. I think it's one person left on the list that was drafted before 2000. Everybody else is
Kyle Korver already, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Damn. Not KD?
Nope.
Kyrie?
Nope.
Man,
Luka?
you gotta be a listen, bro.
No Luka.
I can't
Kyrie
think back.
ain't good a 3-point shooter.
Oh no, he ain't looking at it that much. Shit, I don't know. Did Bron climb in there? He been shooting them last few years.
LeBron is on that list.
Yeah, he's been shooting them last few years.
That was a 3-point shooter?
Yeah, he was, last 3-4 years he's been chucking them.
Yep.
Where we at? 6?
7, I think.
We at 7. 3 more.
Oh, you at 6. It's 4 more.
I can't think of them.
Oh, James Harden.
James Harden. He number 2 on the list.
So we at 7.
I don't know, dog.
3 more.
It's a name that when I do a lot of these trivias, we talk about scorers and high volume cats. Y'all always forget this dude, or he always the last dude to be mentioned.
And he a 3-point shooter?
Yeah. And he is super high. He always top 5 in scoring.
5 in scoring.
Harden. Not Jamal Murray. Not Murray.
He said top 5 in scoring.
Oh, well, yeah. He don't stay healthy enough for that.
Yeah.
Shit. I can't think of 3 more.
I can't. He got me, dog.
All right, I'll give him to you. Dame Dollar.
Damn. I don't know how that
Y'all always forgetting Lillard.
Always forget Dame.
And then 2 names that shocked the hell out of me. Paul George and Vince Carter.
What?
Yeah.
3-point shooters?
Yes.
They don't come to mind as 3-point shooters.
I'm like, Paul George ain't even played enough to be
Right.
Paul George is number 9 on the list.
And when he did, he went to the basket.
Damn. Okay.
And if he ain't doing this podcast, he go to the basket. I never would have thought of him as 3 points.
Yeah, I know.
Dame, we tripped on Dame.
Yeah.
You're right on that. But
You know, one
George.
of y'all just mentioned about how cats went chucking 3s up like that back in the day, and to still see Reggie on this list.
Yeah.
You know, that really you got to put him in there as one of the greatest 3-point shooters because he did it in a time where everybody wasn't chucking 3s up. Some of these guys getting 15 3s a game now.
Well, you got to do that because you remember Steph broke his record.
Right.
So
Well, hell, Reggie probably shot more 3s than 2s. Shit.
In a lot of games he probably did, but I wouldn't say that every game like you see now. Like Steph, I think, you know, on the high volume games, maybe not so much, but Steph take 10 to 15 threes a game.
Yeah, he's averaging 5 threes a game. He at least hit 5 threes a game.
Right. Clay was the same way. Almost all of Clay's shot was 3s when he was with Golden State.
Yeah. Damn.
So and then again with Vince Carter. Now I think Vince fall into that same category like LeBron because he played 20 years in the league.
But
his numbers too.
we have to be talking the end of his career.
You think Vince? You just think of dunks and shit like that.
Yeah, so this have to be his end of his career. He started chucking them threes.
Yeah,
Vince wasn't no 3-point shooter.
He had to been shooting them at some time.
Got to be the end of his career.
High volume. He might not have been high volume, but he was a 3-point shooter. All right, I got one. Let's see, we got about 10 minutes or less. I got one last trivia for you guys. Another top 10 list. All right, so Steph Curry, along with those 4,000 threes, also scored 25,000 points with the same team. Can you name the other 9 players to score 25,000 points with the same team?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe, Dwayne Wade.
Kobe.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Not Dwayne Wade. Dirk.
Kobe. Vince Carter.
Nope.
No.
Of course, Mike. No, of course, MJ.
Of course, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
The big fundamental. Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, yep.
Tim Duncan got to be on there.
Oh, yeah. Timmy D.
Same team.
Reggie Miller, Jerry West, Don Havlicek.
Reggie Miller got to be on there.
Reggie on there.
I'm thinking longevity.
Elijah Wan. Ronnie helping me cheat.
And Ronnie definitely cheating.
Elijah Wan,
yep.
Jerry West.
Ewing.
Not Ewing.
Pastor Ewing on there?
No.
West.
Jerry West.
Where we at?
Got
how many we got?
2 more to go.
Same team. Kevin Garnett?
John
Havlicek. No.
You said the mailman?
Ain't on there for Minnesota?
Mailman is the last one.
Of course,
Karl Malone. Yeah.
Karl Malone. Yep. So 25,000 points with one team. You just got to think of shit. Who played the majority of their career all with the same? I mean, you got.
Yeah, I was thinking longevity. Yeah.
I don't think it's one player on here that played with a different team. Everybody on here played with the same team their entire career. All right, we got about 8 minutes left. I'll give you one last.
We only got about 3.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
That's cool. This will be a quick one. So only 2 players in the last 40 years. Only 2 players have recorded over 30 points in more than 40 games. They've had over 30 points in more than 40 games. Who are the 2 players?
LeBron and Kobe.
Never.
Luka.
No.
Kobe not on there?
No.
30 points in 40 games?
In 40 plus games, yeah.
40 plus on?
Kobe Bryant got to be on there.
He's not.
Steph?
I mean, you got to dilute the list.
It got to be more. It got to be more cats in the 2000s because everybody wasn't averaging 30, wasn't putting up 30, 40 points back then like that.
You got a diluted liver.
Kevin Durant?
No.
Oh, well then I don't know what your list talking about.
Oh, Shea? SGA?
This motherfucker looking up all this shit.
I ain't looking at nothing. I'm at the top of the dome.
I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about Ronnie. So SGA.
Ronnie got Google.
Yep. He Googled everything.
Giannis?
No.
Michael?
30 points. Hold on. What was the question? 30 points and what?
Hey man, tell him to stay off the show.
Yeah. Back to doing the show. What's up, Brett? Yeah, we finishing up.
He said it. He just said it. Ronnie just said it.
What? Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. I want to bring my bag. Mike and SGA.
Yeah.
Oh well, come on, man. I'm thinking of the top scorers in like the 2000s. I'm going back.
He averaged 37 points a game at one point. He averaged 37 points.
Not in the 2000s though. He said the 2000s.
No, this ain't
the last 40 years.
I said the last 40 years.
40 years.
Last 40 years. He's going back to 85 and when Mike was a rookie of the year.
Well, we said Mike and Kobe, he shut it down.
I said Kobe and LeBron.
Yeah,
said
Mike
Kobe and LeBron.
because I thought Mike too. I'm like, no one said Mike. That would have been my first thought.
Yep.
My first thought was Kobe.
Anytime you see 30 plus points, you got to think Mike. You got to.
Instantly.
But you got to think Kobe too.
Nah, because Kobe,
What?
I think only averaged 30 points like once. I don't think he did it more than once.
Yeah, I think his career average was only like 24.
Yeah, SGA.
Kobe?
Yeah,
SGA been doing shit. SGA averaging like 31, right? 31, 32 right now.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. Great show. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate everybody that left comments and stuff today. I know it's an abbreviated show, but obviously another great show. So, sending off with some parting shots. KDL, parting shot.
Thank everybody for tuning in. I'm on fumes, as you can see, but I made it. Hey, today, man, we got Sand Party Debrief tonight at Water Limon, 6:00. Be there. We got Danielle's party going on. Well, it's about to start at 1:00 at Platinum today. Cigar Community. She got Antoine, which I was with Antoine last night, to be honest. Antoine is there today, and so is Farley. But you Farley fans, you house heads, Farley is at Platinum today. The party is 1 to 7. It's Danielle's. Well, it's her birthday celebration. The St. Patrick's Day too. Y'all come on out and have a good time.
All right, look.
Yeah, man, I'll be remiss, man. We got to put some smoke in the air for my girl, Dr. Stephanie Brown, passed away this week. So may she rest in paradise, her and her family. You know, Smoke Community, we got y'all back. So definitely going to be missed. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Kev already told y'all what today is, St. Patrick's weekend. Y'all be careful out there. You know, do what you do, but do it responsibly. That includes Mr. Fumes up there, Kevin Loud. So,
he need to find a responsible Gatorade bottle.
Right.
And a water.
So yeah, that's all Friday, man. Friday blackout adult hooky day. Come on through. Y'all already know if you've never been to a blackout, it's an all day thing. Rep your college team edition, man. Whether it's your alumni or just your favorite college team. So we're gonna have cash prizes, raffles, food trucks. It's a all day thing starting at 10 a.m. So come hang out with us. And last but not least, I got to give a shout out to my boy Lex. The Break Cigars bought me their new stick. It will be featured on the show in a couple of weeks. So y'all check that out, man. And man, make sure you all support the Breaks. That's it.
Cool. Again, like I said, appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Like KDL mentioned, got a lot of events going on today. Go out, support the cigar community in Danielle at Platinum with Farley and DJ Antoine. Tonight, you got Diva Leaf, Sandy. Her birthday going to be off the chain. You also got some more house legends in the house. Hula Mahone going to be there. You also got Andre Hatchett coming and do back-to-backs. He was there, tore the house down, closed it down till like 3 a.m. last week. I don't know how he did it. And then you got yours truly to come in. I'm going to do my little thing. And then check me out. If you out and about in the city tomorrow, St. Patty's Day, pregame, Red Pepper. I'll be there from 1 to 6. Doors open at 12. Come out and show some love, and we're going to have a good time. As we always say.
Where's Red Pepper? Let them know.
Red Pepper is
87th and
87th and off I want to say off King Drive, but
no, I ain't that far off. It's 428 East 87. 428 East 87. That's literally about 5 minutes off the highway, off 94. So come on through, come show some love, come have some drinks. My girl Kim Mays, shout out to her. She gonna be doing her thing, working the bar, her and her people up there. So come through, show some love. So as we end this show every single week, let y'all know whether it's smoke,
there's
fella,
and a bunch of alcohol.